Hey, this is Abar, and you're listening to Concede.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 83 of Concede, a Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. My name is Kenny, and I go by KCCO Gamer, and all the way from Thunder Bluff, Louisiana, we have Cinder.
That's me.
And all the way from Undercity, Georgia, we have Appa.
That's also me. What's up,
And-
everybody?
And joining us from Gadget Zan, New York, we have Ridiculous Hat.
That's not me.
It's not you.
Oh no!
I know.
We goofed it.
It is. No, I'm Ludicrous Chapeau. I'm filling in this week.
What?
Okay.
What is a chapeau? Is that a hat? Is that kind of hat?
It's yes, that's the French word for hat.
Oh my god.
The more you know. Do 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 do. I need that jingle on my sound card. Thanks for reminding me.
It's write that down.
I feel like you should just call it ludicrous, like beret or something, to make it easier.
It's
Hooray.
I mean, a beret is like a variety of hat. A chapeau means any hat, but it's different language. We should talk about something else.
Hearthstone. So Hat, how's Hearthstone been?
I like Hearthstone. I think it's a good game. The guy from Vicious Syndicate, Ohad, he said, looking at the data, that this is probably the most diverse meta the game has ever seen. So that's pretty great, I think.
How have you been doing?
Um,
How'd you finish?
I finished Dumpster Legend like I always do. I never really make the push there. I'm not like Appa going for top 200 Legend. I really just use the Dumpster Legend time to just play whatever deck I can find that suits my fancy. And now the season has started off, and I decided I wanted to be a really terrible person, so I'm getting good with Freeze Mage. And it feels... I like winning, but it's like... I feel like Jafar during the middle of Aladdin, where like, I have this power, but at what cost?
Freeze Mage is so much fun to play. Don't feel bad about that.
It's pretty good.
Whenever you're playing against it, you're just like, man, this is awful. I'd rather be watching paint dry. Then when you're playing with it, you're just like, oh man, this is awesome. Oh, he has no chance.
But like, it feels so bad when we both players in the game know that in 4 turns it'll be over and I'll win, but we both are obligated to sit through it, and that just feels wrong. But it doesn't feel wrong enough for me to change my behavior, so that means that I can't take the moral high ground here.
Well, there you go. Alrighty, so Appa, we know what happened this weekend, but how'd you do on ladder this week?
Oh man, I'm so sad. This week,
No reason to be sad.
I got stuck at the airport for how long was I stuck there?
A long time.
20-something hours.
20, yeah.
I was just
An entire
laddering.
day, afternoon to morning.
Yeah, it was a while.
That was your laddering time?
That was a story for a different time though. I got to like rank 12 or something, just messing around. I got there on the 31st. Are there 31 days in April?
No, there are 30.
All right, I got there on the 30th. I got to the airport on the 30th, and I laddered until like 2 o'clock, because that's when the server reset in Texas. And then from there, I just laddered a little bit until I passed out. And I hit like rank 12 or something. I don't really remember. I think I might have hit rank 11, but I'm at rank 12 right now. So my laddering experience went on the first week.
I ended at 7 because, parenting, adulting, yeah. So just not enough time to do everything I wanted to do.
Yeah, that parenting thing sounds hard.
Yeah, it's still demanding.
It's been a pretty crazy week. Monday I had gone nonstop from 5 to 5 a.m. Well, actually before then I woke up, but yeah, it was just one thing after another. And Tuesday was busy. and then Thursday is going to be busy. Today is a little bit because of the show. Obviously, I was running a little bit late for you guys, but that's here or there. So, what about you, Hat?
You did.
I already
you did
asked Hat. I meant Cinder.
No, see,
this is
like
I'm wearing a hat. That's what got you confused.
this is an analogy for Freeze Mage. Is that I'm in the same place. We're both in the same place that we were before, but he's got to check again to see if anything's different.
Exactly. Right. Like,
It's like, am I
you,
dead?
do you still have
Am I
ice
dead
block?
now?
Can I attack with my minions? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I tried
But-
checking
but
for
am I
block.
dead
That's
now?
for sure.
there we go. Had
Dude,
another
just
block.
poking the block.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I finished at 4. If I wasn't prepping for DreamHack, I'm pretty confident I had time for Legend, but I just kind of used the rank 5 floor to just play every deck ever. So I just left it there, and then I went to DreamHack. So this month is, I've only gotten like a handful of games in, but I'm using B787's Discover Mage, and it's a lot of fun, and it feels like you take a little bit of Freeze Mage and a little bit of Burn Mage and a little bit of Reno Mage, and you just kind of like splice them together, and that's B787's deck. Like, it has all the answers, and then occasionally you just blow them out of the water out of nowhere, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it reminds me of Reno Mage, except without all the do they have Reno or no garbage.
Yeah.
I try not to be negative about any deck, but Reno Mage was one of those decks I could never get a handle on. It always felt like if I draw Kazakus and Reno, I win. And if I don't, then it's bad. And this deck just feels like such a more consistent version of it. You don't have the high rolls quite the same way, but you don't really have those low rolls either. Your deck is more reliable. Some people actually like that less because it does the same thing every game, but I find it a lot easier to plan with as opposed to just saying, well, I hope I draw this specific one of.
Yeah, personally, I don't like it as much as like actual Freeze Mage, because I really like Doomsayer right now. That card's nuts, especially against the like surge of Murloc Charm we're seeing. Like, they don't have any cards that kill Doomsayer. Like, that card's bananas.
Yeah, and you can bait hexes with Doomsayers too, and then you stick an Antonitis with a Frost Nova, and then they're like, well, this kind of sucks.
Yeah. They don't win that one. They don't make it.
No.
All right. So kind of a short week. We got a lot to talk about. I'm excited to hear some stories. But as far as coaching goes, I don't know how much coaching we've had this week, but we could maybe talk about who we have lined up. Did any of you have coaching this week?
I did not have coaching well, that's a lie. I do have coaching this week, but not before the show. I have it scheduled for Friday and Saturday, and that includes both this month's coaching sessions and 1 or 2 makeups before that. So we're getting everybody caught up and on schedule, and then we'll be good moving forward. And then I'm waiting for to hear back from some other people about some coaching. So yeah, we're making sure we're caught up on that.
All right. And Hat, you've got a list of people that are excited to be coached by you.
Yeah, I think I've got 4 people lined up right now, and that's pretty rad. I really like. It feels like the show. I don't know what's happening, but like the both the interactivity and the feedback, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but as well as the number of patrons, I think we're all just kind of blown away by we don't have that many like $1, $2, $3 patrons. All of our patrons are $10 and up. It feels like, at least most of them, and the support has been really unbelievable. So thank you everyone so much. We'll say thank you again. We're going to keep repeating this, but for 4 people to come out and for 2 people to sign up and be like, I want Hat to coach me, it's mind-blowing to me. I can't even process
They want
it.
this dank coaching session.
Yeah.
With the ridiculous rogue.
Yes.
It's true. And then the only person who requests me by name is Sir Slips. You my man, Slips. That's right.
Slips
is
are
for
right.
homing.
Listen,
Yeah, Slips and I are gonna do some more wackiness probably on Saturday, or no, on Thursday. So we'll see what he has in store.
everyone that signs up requests Cinder specifically so he doesn't feel left out. Thank you.
I got a show to edit, man.
No,
Yeah.
you got time. You're good.
Yeah, I got
Just do it. Just do it when you're on the road. It's all good.
My
You got
nickname
enough time.
is my nickname is Anyone. I tend to pick up those.
Yeah, there you go.
So I know for sure I'm going to be coaching Eric this week, or not this week, but at least this month. I haven't had any coachings with him, so I'll try and pick him up, and maybe another here or there. We have a lot more, and actually, I'll say right now. So we have 3 new people this week: Mark S, Jack R, and Donald U. I tend to go with just the first and last, first name and last initial, just because it can get confusing because we tend to go with their names, especially if they've joined Discord and everything. So thank you for you 3 for being our new patrons. We do appreciate it. It's mind blowing how much it's just growing every week, and it's a testament to keep getting people to sign up for coaching. So
Yeah, dude, our
Great.
patrons are DeBes, spelled DA space BES. Because y'all are DeBes.
I don't
So
have
thank you
anything
so
to
much.
add to that.
Seriously, it's awesome. It's awesome how much we're growing. It's crazy.
Yeah, we're all really just trying to process what it means. Like, what do we do with this money that we don't have earmarked for things that we need to keep the show running? Like, what do we do with the extra? None of us are used to having extra.
We can start giving stuff away.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's part of. We'll be talking more about this behind the scenes, but I'm hoping we could put some of it back to you guys.
Absolutely.
We can actually get the drawings going once a month again, and start thinking about. We have Hat and I actually have been in talks with something for BlizzCon this year. We don't have tickets yet, but at least we'll be there and representing Coin Concede. So keep an ear out for what we got planned.
And keep an ear out for tickets for me and Kenny, please.
Yes, if you have a
Please
ticket,
and
and
thanks.
we'll pay.
Yeah,
We're
we
not
have
asking.
money. We have money.
We're not asking for handouts. We're
Yes.
going to pay that.
Yeah.
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 Well, they are.
Let
I'm
me make
not.
sure we'll
I'm a broke
clarify.
college kid.
We would like to exchange goods and services for your BlizzCon tickets.
Yes. So and maybe some of that money that we're getting extra will go into some of those that are going. And even for our patrons too. We're not going to leave them out with this talks that we've been having. But let's move on. We've got a lot to talk about. There's the news to get to. Hey, did you guys hear there's 70 million Hearthstone players?
That's a lot.
I'm
70.
going to request a queue up of the cheer soundboard track. There it is.
You're welcome.
70 million. 70 million.
This little
That's a lot.
golf clap for that one.
So that's 45 million players and 35 million Smurf accounts, right? Or that's not math. 25 million Smurf accounts.
I don't think
Yeah.
there's that many, but you do have to realize that this is actually on a mobile app, so it's more accessible, I think, that way.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I did
But-
make a Smurf to get Morgul.
I did too.
Same. As
We're-
I'm sure you saw on stream this weekend when I got blasted by Strife Crow.
Oh no.
I wasn't
go
paying
get your
attention
free
to the
packs.
Morgul.
Go get your free packs.
Yeah, log
If you
in,
haven't.
get 3 free packs. Just because, why not?
And do it on every region. I forget who reminded me in Discord.
And all your
Oh, yeah.
Smurfs.
Oh, that was
Yes.
Blue Spartan. He said he got 9 packs, and he was like, woo!
Nice.
Yeah, I got nothing out of my packs, but it was also a free nothing, so I
Yeah.
got some free dust out of that.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
turns
I
out
got all
there's not a lot of downside.
By a lot of
So-
none.
So
I'm
there's
sorry,
that.
Not a lot. You mean literally none.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. Pavel, released from Arma Team, is now a free agent. What do you guys think about that?
I have no idea what's going on there, honestly. The whole Arma team move was pretty strange. Millennium basically dumped their entire roster, and they all went to Arma team. So I think there was an actual bulk exchange of contracts, like a cash for contracts kind of thing. But then Pavel just gets released right after that, and he's kind of like an odd duck in that group because Arma is a French organization, and he's surrounded by very talented French players. So I don't know, maybe he wants to find something closer to home. I mean, I don't know. I don't know any details on it, but it's the 2016 world champion without a team right now, which is interesting.
Nobody else? All right.
Cinder knows esports.
I don't
Yeah,
know
it
it
was-
nearly as much esports as I would like to, honestly.
It was definitely weird to read that in the show notes. I'll be real.
Yeah.
Because, like, he just, like, went from Millennium to Arma Team, and suddenly he's just not on a team anymore. Like, that doesn't make sense.
And
Like,
what's weird too is like he got signed by Millennium right before BlizzCon. Like he had already made it through. BlizzCon's just around the corner, and Millennium's like, "Yo, dog, here's a pile of cash. You want to come play for us?" And he left. I think he was still on Anox / Team Spirit at the time, and he just got signed over, and then he won, and then he was on Millennium for like a month, and then they went over to Arma Team, and now he's got nobody. So I don't know. Maybe he's just shopping for the best deal. Who knows?
yeah, I guess we'll just have to see what happens
Yeah.
with that.
All right, and the last thing we have here is we have a new brawl, which is a heroic brawl at that, and it's all wild. So it seems like Blizzard's been pushing for a lot of wild stuff lately, and would be one of the things. So new heroic tavern brawl. You guys going to be taking advantage of this? I think I am.
No.
I'm not going to do gold for it, but I think I may put down. We'll see.
No, I have no wild collection. I know Appa has almost no wild collection, but he might do it. He might do
No,
it anyway.
that's not a he might. That is a I am for sure doing it.
He is
I
doing it.
actually have a Twitter poll going right now.
Go check it out.
On my Twitter account at Cyclone Appa. Got a shameless plug in there, but it's leaning towards me playing Malagos Reno Freeze Mage in the Tavern Brawl.
That's what you get.
How many words?
This is what's known as the Bodie McBoatface phenomenon. When you put something up for a vote,
so-
you get the worst possible option.
No. This is the best possible option because Reno Malagos Freeze Mage is one of my favorite decks of all time. I love that deck. It's so much fun. I love playing it. It's so BS and it's so janky. And when you win with it, you just feel like an animal. It's great. I love the deck.
You should stream it for sure.
Yeah, that's the plan is getting a bunch of people to vote on it. Pick my deck. It's between like Freeze Mage, Reno, Mally Freeze, Aggro Shaman, and Pirate Warrior. And the one that gets the most votes, I'm going to stream it this weekend playing through a full heroic Tavern Brawl with it.
Nice.
Sweet.
Hat, are you going to put money where your mouth is?
Maybe. I have to figure out if there's a deck that I like, because the deck, for anyone that feels like they don't have a wild collection, you take 80 dust, and you go make 2 ship's cannons, and you put them in your Pirate Warrior deck, and now you have a wild collection. So
It's
You
true.
have the best wild collection,
Yeah,
actually.
and
That deck is nuts.
the deck is ridiculous because you take a regular, really strong, aggressive deck, and then you say, how about a more durable knife juggler that deals double the damage? And it turns out that's pretty good. But I don't want to do Pirate Warrior. I already have Golden Warrior, and not that that matters. But I actually was talking with Calum, one of our new patrons, one of the people who I'm going to coach, and Egg Druid is super good in Wild. And I've always enjoyed a good Savage Roar deck. And this deck, like, the curve tops out of Jeeves, except for a couple Evolving Spores. That's how lit this deck is. So I could very well see that happening. I could very well see... I wonder if Old Zoo is good. Like, I really love Nerubian Egg, Haunted Creeper, Implosion Zoo, even though I know that liking Implosion as a card makes me once again a bad person. But I think it's probably too slow. I think Secret Paladin is probably too slow. I'm curious, but I don't know if I can justify both spending the time and the 1,000 gold and the it's because it's going to have to be gold or the $10 on a format that I don't know at all and matchups that I don't know at all. It just seems like a really low value proposition because I'm not good like Appa.
Just play Reno Freeze Mage. You'll be good. Reno Mally Freeze, sorry.
I'm going to leave that to the professionals.
Malagos will carry you to victory with a billion damage Ice Lances that cost 0.
That seems unfair.
As far as I know, the first 12-win brawl that happened today came with Egg Druid, so it seems good.
Yo, you know what's good against the decks that are doing well in Brawl right now? Which are like Egg Druid and like VLPS's Control Shaman with N'Zoth. You know what's good against them?
Is it Reno Malagos Freeze Mage?
Yeah. They can't beat that. They can't beat a Doomsayer, and they can't beat this Malagos Burst combo.
Wow. Well,
Oh man,
I
I'm
think
gonna
I know
have
what
so
you're
much
gonna
fun
play.
this weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
And if you haven't already, if you don't have it bookmarked or it's not the homepage in your browser, go to HearthstoneTopDecks.com. We love them. They have so much good content. Evident is the guy that runs it. He apparently does everything himself. He's a super cool dude, and they have tons of deck lists there. Strifecrow, I know, just went 12-1 with Token Murloc Aggro, Token Murloc Aggro Paladin, which sounds fantastic. And and VLPS is 12-0 N'Zoth Control Shaman. That deck is saucy. Deck has
I like
Sneed's
it.
Old Shredder in it.
Yeah, that one looks sweet.
Yeah, but you don't have a Sneed's.
Yeah, man.
I'm actually going to be playing a lot more Wild going forward. I'm thinking that's going to be my thing instead of Standard, since they are pushing Wild a little bit more. And I haven't really gotten rid of anything. I was going over this with Hat the other day. I think I only dusted the Arcane Golems for the free dust, and then a Legend. Oh, Rathion. I dusted my Golden Rathion.
I
It's
think
like,
those
I
are
don't
pretty
need it.
safe dusts, and Arcane Golem is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
Poor Arcane Golem. Oh man,
Arcane
Yeah.
Golem needs to atone for his sins.
I'm so sad. He already
But,
paid the tax. He paid the charge tax with the mana crystal.
It's the
Oh,
mana
well.
crystal didn't matter if you died.
Oh man.
Right.
So
Makes me
this
so
week,
sad.
this week I've been playing Pirate Warrior in Wild just to get my wins in. I think I'm close to 430 now, and hopefully I'll get that done soon. And yeah, I'm at like an 80% win rate right now.
Jeez.
I lost to
That's a big
small
number.
sample size. It's a small sample size. I only lost to a Rogue, which was like also a pirate deck and I linked it in our Discord, the Hearthstone replay. He had 2 ships cannon out there and had ganged up a patches.
Oh wow.
And then he summoned the what's the 3/3 the sea captain or whatever it is, and then
South Sea
just
Captain.
all of them came out of the deck all at once, and just cannons were going off like the national anthem, just tearing me apart. And he got me. So yeah, that, and then the other one was a priest actually that got me with. He had like doubles Velen chosen on some insane decks. It was kind of like a dragon priest, but with Velen chosen, and he put one on his 1/3, and I just couldn't kill it to get rid of it. So
Yeah, it's
but
been a
everything
while
else,
since we played that card, but like it's super good. Like the +2/+4 matters, and the spell damage matters a surprising amount.
So I'm very interested to see how Ladder's going to go this month. Just to give a little bit of a teaser on what I've made. I did make an Egg Druid for Ladder. I'm going to continue with my Pirate Warrior, and then I have a Rogue deck. And actually, I got these from the Wild Hearthstone Reddit. Go check it out. They actually posted a tier list for May, and tier 1 is Pirate Warrior, Lock, and Egg Druid. And I saw there's like a quest rogue that has Annoyatrons in it, and what was those
does it have target
dummies?
Yeah.
So very interesting. I'd
Dude,
like to play around
Target
with
Dummy is sick in that deck. It's like a way better Wisp, because that 1/1 doesn't matter, but like that taunt is huge when it's a 5/5.
Yes.
It's nuts.
How many times did you legitimately expect us to talk about cards and say it's a way better Wisp, and that means it's more playable than a currently playable card?
So I'll try and keep you guys in mind for those that are actually going to be playing Wild. Maybe we'll have some. I added a Wild chat in our Discord too, so we can get that going. It's very apropos for the Tavern Brawl this week too. It'll be fun. All right, I'm done talking. I want to kick it over to Cinder here. Take it away.
It's the grand
Y'all, there were so many tournaments this past weekend. Like, this is just going to be the auctioneer minute here. So strap in and listen real close, because we got a lot of tournaments to cover. All right. So the first one is obviously DreamHack Austin. That was a 9-round Swiss that cut to a top 16 single elimination bracket. All matches were best of 5, last hero standing with a ban. Dog came out of the Swiss bracket with the only perfect record of the weekend, 9-0. This is a really big showing for Dog, who has never really had like a breakout tournament, but he has been a prominent player in the competitive circuit. So this was a really big chance for him, and he had a fantastic record. Into the round of 16, Dog defeats Amnesiac 3-1. Shoop defeats Ryder 3-2. Terrence M eliminates Chalky 3-1. Beats Astrogation 3-0. Cat Destroyer over Allen 3-2. Raynad over Language Hacker 3-1. Just Sayan defeats Danka 3-2, and Mr. Lego, the Australian newcomer, sweeps out Eloise at 3-0. That brings us to a quarterfinal, and I want to point this out. In the quarterfinal, 3 out of 8 players in the quarterfinal were from Team Tempo Storm, that is unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen that many of one team in a major going that deep. Plus, you had Eloise, who would be the 4th one, who was in the round of 16. So that was just an incredible weekend for Team Tempo Storm. But let's see how they did. In the quarterfinal round, Shoop sweeps Dog right out 3-0. He does it with N'Zoth Paladin, kind of like shades of Chalky's run last year. He swept out Taunt Warrior, Dragon Priest, and Midrange Paladin with that Control Paladin. Trump defeats Terrence M 3-2. Terrence M nearly gets his way out of a 0-2 deficit with an aggressive Murloc Paladin, but Trump does close it with a mid-range Hunter, my man Trump. Raynad sweeps Cat Destroyer, the unfortunately named. Noodle sweeps with the mid-range Paladin versus mid-range Paladin, Miracle Rogue, and Pirate Warrior with his Discover Mage. And then Mr. Lego sweeps Cyan. So just a huge run of sweeps here with the exception of the Trump-Terrence M match. Mr. Lego, he cleaned up the Quest Rogue, Taunt Warrior, and Freeze Mage with mid-range Paladin. So we had 3 different sweeps with 3 different decks. One with N'Zoth Paladin, one with Discover Mage, one with mid-range Paladin. So there's a lot of strong decks in this format. Semifinal round, Shoop sweeps Trump. So Shoop doing it again. He switches gears from his previous sweep series. This time he does it with mid-range Paladin. He manages to knock out Discover Mage, Taunt Warrior, and mid-range Hunter with that Paladin build. And Mr. Lego and Raynad have a very close match. Each player trading wins as the series went on. But Mr. Lego manages to finish Raynad's Discover Mage with the Taunt Warrior. And that brings us to a final of Shoop versus Mr. Lego. Mr. Lego takes the first match against the Taunt Warrior, but Shoop shows his mastery of Discover Mage this time, sweeping the next 3 games to win 3-1. He takes home the gold from DreamHack Austin. The trophy stays in the U.S. from Chalky winning it last year. So far, every DreamHack US has been won by a U.S. champion, despite a very heavy presence of European and some South American players. Moving right ahead to the Hearthstone Global Games scores very quickly here. Italy defeats Japan 3-1. Malaysia defeats Belgium 3-2. Russia defeats Australia 3-2. Ukraine beats Philippines 3-0. Real heartbreaker for the Philippines, and Ukraine continues to look amazing. Netherlands beats Thailand 3-1. Israel beats Norway 3-2. France beats Kazakhstan 3-1, including a game. Torque was playing Jade Druid with Yogg-Saron, and he managed to win the final match there after playing Yogg-Saron and getting quite a good result. It was a lot of fun to watch if you want to check that out. So once again, France wins that series 3-1. Czech Republic sweeps Belarus 3-0. Bulgaria beats Sweden 3-2 in an upset, despite Sweden starting out really strong in that series. Greece barely edges out Portugal 3-2, but good for them. Greece is a very talented team, and they need a win. And then U.S. defeats Romania 3-2, including a very crazy sequence of devolves between RDU and Hot Meowth. RDU was on a Jade Shaman, and he devolved Hot Meowth's board, and one of the devolved minions was a crystalline thingy for the 1/1 priest that death rattles into a card from your opponent's deck.
That is Crystalline Oracle.
Thank you, Crystalline Oracle. It died. It gave Hot Meowth a devolve for himself, which he then used on RDU's board, which created a Lyra the Sun Shard from one of the devolves, and RDU basically just had a handful of spells, and it completely flipped the game over. Some really wacky stuff happening that in HGG this weekend. Charging right ahead, Copa America Spring. Colombian player Watt, or W-O-T, I'm not sure which. We previously saw him in HCT last season. He had a very distinct, like kind of like a fun-loving personality on the stream, and he had some very unusual deck choices. Like he was the only person who had priests in that pre-Ungoro meta, which was pretty brave. He got past a gauntlet of Brazilian players to win the Copa 4-2 over Cal. So Copa America has its first non-Brazilian champion, Watt being from Colombia. And the TESPA Collegiate Series finals also happened last weekend. The format for TESPA is very interesting. If you hadn't watched any of these, what they did was they had a best of three, meaning each of the three players on each collegiate team had a best of three match to play. So the whole team had to win 2 out of 3 of those sets in order to win their games. In the quarterfinals, Shawnee State defeats Cal, Poly Montreal defeats North Carolina, UT San Antonio defeats Colorado State, Rutgers defeats UC Riverside. Going to the semifinal, Poly Montreal defeats UC State, and Rutgers defeats UT San Antonio, and that gives us a final of Rutgers versus Poly Montreal. This ends up being very close. The two teams split their sets, and it's down to the last set. Noblord, noted for being in the last call tournament last year, he is down 0-1 going into this set. He has to win both games to secure the win for Rutgers. He ends up winning the first match with, of all things, Kazakh's Priests versus an aggro shaman, and then wins the second one by the smallest of margins with a freeze mage game versus Handlock. It was literally down to he had 1 health and an ice block then been popped, and the warlock was on Jiraxis with 4 health, and he had no burn in hand. He had to top deck burn. He ended up top decking a Frostbolt off of a draw that came from I believe it was Bloodmage Thanos on the board. So he just barely ekes this one out, takes it home for Rutgers, and he also earned me a bunch of packs. So thank you, Noblord, for that. And the last thing we're going to report on, some strangeness going on in China. Check this out. So Gold Series has a bunch of tournaments all the time, right? They have regionals and various events. In Chongqing, there was a 2,048 seat open bracket tournament. The members of the European team for the China versus EU event that's happening actually tomorrow and then through the weekend, they're all there. So Zixo, Colento, and Super JJ decide to enter the open tournament. Out of 2,048 seats, get this, Colento wins the tournament. And Colento is now actually technically eligible to enter the Gold Series HCT China qualifier for the summer season. So we may have our first carpetbagger of sorts, an international crossover, if he decides to follow through with that. And I don't even know if they'll allow it. There may be some residency requirements for China. I don't know. But very interesting and very strange happenings going on in the Chinese scene there. But yes, if you want to watch something really great, the China versus EU 4 is coming up, and as usual, the CEO of NetEase has purchased and offered up a Ferrari to the Chinese team if they win the event. So once again, that event the production quality for that, you guys, is like off the charts. It is a ton of fun to watch, even though it's just kind of like a show match. It's a lot of fun, and there's a Ferrari on the line. You gotta watch that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want a Ferrari.
I think we have a lot to talk about as far as DreamHack Austin. You guys want to comment on the others, the global games and the other series here?
Well, I would personally forego a Ferrari for like that 200K that winner gets, because that is sweet. That is like maybe enough to pay off school loans. We might be approaching it.
Wow.
Maybe. Right?
I mean, I really like the format of the HGG. Just continues to be really fun to watch, and a lot of really interesting games I like that's going to be going basically the entire summer. And for the TESPA, I picked Noblord, and Noblord won.
We get packs.
Woo.
Oh yeah, when do we get those packs? Do we know?
I don't know.
I think it's in the next week or two.
It should be pretty soon, I think.
I didn't even
picked
do
Noblord
this.
and Rutgers because it's the only team that I knew at all. That's the only person that I knew.
I missed out on free packs. Oh well.
Rip.
Rip. All right. Yeah, I like the global games. Actually, does this start narrowing down, or how does this work? Does this
Global Games is group stage first, and then they're gonna take the winner and runner up out of each group and make a bracket.
Oh, okay, cool.
But there's quite a few games to play still, since
Yeah.
there's so many countries.
Sweet. I like you pointing out a couple of those unique games out, so we can go back and watch.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, so no iTunes reviews this week. We got a lot of them out of the way last week. They just come in clumps. So if you'd like to leave us a review, go check us out on iTunes or Stitcher. I don't think they've done the Google Music Play yet. And yeah, go do that. And then come back. All right, so for our Dexplanations this week, it's mostly just going to be a DreamHack recap. Go ahead and do it up.
And I know you're not going to hand it off to me after I just did the tournament section.
Oh man, you got it.
Actually, let's hear from Appa first.
Yeah, man. Yeah, in fact, I would definitely want to hear from Appa first because I was there and I don't need to rehear the stories. And also, I have to visit the Little Torrens room. So take it
my
away,
God.
Appa.
All right, where do you want me to start?
Little Torrens through.
From the beginning.
All right, that is very vague. I guess just the start of the tournament, or like prep, or where are we going with this one?
So what was
I
your
was
experience,
expecting
right?
to bounce off of Cinder for this one, but that man's in the Little Torrens room right now. So
Well,
So he,
it's most of our listeners and our viewers. A lot of times they take the more casual approach to the game. They're looking to get into the competitive. So seeing the tournament experience through your eyes is going to be really helpful. What was it like? You've been through so many of these before, but what was it like for as far as the setup? How was it easy to navigate? Did you meet people? What was it like getting into it? And then how did you feel when you started playing? And how did your matches go?
yeah. So by doing this many times before, you mean twice. So I'm still pretty new to this.
Okay, even better.
But yeah, so prep for the tournament, we already covered that last week. But going into the tournament, we got there, we got to hotel room and everything. I got more sleep than Cinder because he got in late. But there he is. My lifeline's back.
don't rely on him.
Yeah, I got more sleep than him. He was a little more tired, but sleep was super important. Got up pretty early, headed into day one feeling disgustingly nervous, like on the verge of like throwing up amounts of nervous. But I got there and like when the tournament started, I started feeling a little better. And I got paired up round one against somebody who I didn't recognize. His name is Nizuma. He actually turns out to be a French player. I could tell he was French like when he started talking to me. I was like, okay, I don't know this guy, but like he's French, so that might be a reason why I don't know him. And I got swept. I got swept 3-0, and that sucked really bad because that was like a big shot to my confidence. Because Hat and Cinder will tell you that I tested so hard for this tournament.
Well, we talked about it last week. We know how everyone knows at this point.
Yeah, I went super deep on testing for this tournament. So like after that, I was like, oh my god, I'm just gonna come all the way out here and get wrecked and just like 0-2 drop this tournament. I have no chance. And I like at that point I was so sad. And then Cinder, who'd you play round one?
I got paired up against Lead Paint, which was an experience. The first thing is like there was a pin busted in his Ethernet port, so we spent like the first 30 minutes of the match trying to get him connected because I'm just not the kind of person to be like, well, you couldn't connect within 20 minutes of the match, so I guess I win. Like, no, I want to play against Lead Paint because that's amazing. I mean, Lead Paint, if you've listened to the show before, you know who he is. He just recently won. I think it was an Onog event.
Yeah,
like
he won an Onog major.
Yeah, so like he's won a major tournament. He's a regular top 100 legend player. So I'm like, this is exactly why I came. I wanted to see how I can measure up against players like Lead Paint. Turns out I actually took him to a game 5 in a Dragon Priest mirror match, and it just came down to cards because I had a plan. I had a specific matchup plan for that, and it did not pan out. Like I just couldn't get the cards to go my way. So he ended up taking that. But like I asked him after the fact that I took that opportunity to say, hey, did you see anything I could have done better? And he's like, honestly, like I didn't see any mistakes in your play. Like there was one druid play where I traded a little bit and went to face a little bit where he's like, I think I'd have gone on face, but I think you could have gone either way on that. I don't think it was a wrong play. I think it was just a decision to make. So yeah, it was just really great to be validated by such a very highly skilled player in a regular tournament competitor. It was awesome.
Yeah. So after round 1, when I went 0-3, I got real sad. I played against in round 2. I played against a guy named Icicles, and if you were watching DreamHack all weekend, you will know this man dumpstered Mr. Yaguda on stream. Which I had no idea who this guy was. I was like, Icicles? What? I've never heard of this dude in my life. So I played against him, and I 3-0'd him with Rogue. Because I'm not bad at Rogue, and he didn't have a lineup that was good against it, and he left it open. So I 3-0'd him pretty easily that series. I was like, okay, whatever. That's fine. And then round 3, I actually got a default win, because I sat down for my match, and the rules in DreamHack are you get 20 minutes, and at the end of 20 minutes, if your opponent doesn't show up, you get a default win, which is like, it's fine because it's a free win, but it's really bad for your tiebreakers at the end of the day. But that's like a whole nother episode. So at this point, I was 2-1 going into round 4. Round 4, I got paired up against Jay Covington. So I should note at this point that I got paired up against a lot of relatively unknown people, which was really different from last year's DreamHack, where I got paired up against mostly pro players. So every round when I went to the pairings, I was like, "Who is this guy? I don't know this person." So I played against Jay Covington. I don't really remember how our match went. I think I came away 3-1. I think I lost to Paladin Mirror and then like swept him with something else. And last year at DreamHack Austin, they did 5 rounds on day 1, and then 4 rounds on day 2 plus top 16, and then day 3 was like the top 8 up to the finals. But this year it was day 1, 6 rounds, day 2, 7, 8, 9, and then top 16, and then Sunday was top 8. So we had to play 6 rounds on day 1, which I found out when I got there, and I was like, man, that sucks. That's so much Hearthstone. This is awful. But
what are you talking about? It was awesome. That was a lot of Hearthstone.
It was so much, dude.
Hearthstone's a great game.
I was on edge the entire time. You were good because you didn't have to worry about scraping out a day 2.
Well, it wasn't a matter of that. It was just that like I don't know what it is. I wish I could transfer to you my complete and total 100% chill when I hit a tournament floor, because it's like where I feel like it's where I belong. Like this is what I love the most. I don't care how well I do. I just want to do it. It's like
I was also 0-1 and I was on a win streak, and I was like, I don't want to screw this up.
Nah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
So going into round 5, I actually played against Cat Destroyer, who you just heard about.
The unfortunately named.
Yeah, in game 1, we played a mid-range Paladin Mirror. His was the more aggressive version with Hungry Crab, and I go turn 1 Vilefin Inquisitor, and he goes turn 1 Hungry Crab. And I'm like, okay, how in God's name do I win this game? And I managed to drag the entire game out to fatigue, and I lose by 1 point of damage because he is at 8. I have an Ashbringer and 4 damage on the board. And he gets... What does he get off? he gets an abomination from a Stonehill defender, and he is not
Yeah.
yet at fatigue, and I am at fatigue already. So he is at 8, and Ashbringer plus abomination proc deals 7. So he goes to 1, and then I die to fatigue next turn. So he wins that
Man.
match. And then after that, that took like 35 minutes or something. And I was like, all right, I need an admin because I have to use the bathroom. And then I called an admin and I was like, yo, I really got to use the bathroom. He's like, all right, you have 5 minutes. And I was like, that's not enough. I'm drinking like three bottles of water. So I like go to the bathroom, I use the bathroom, I have to like cut it off halfway through because I'm like, I need to get back to the match. I can't actually finish this.
These are the
The
things they
bathroom
don't
was-
tell you.
The bathroom was on the other side of the convention floor.
Yeah,
and it's like the
I literally
convention floor.
like I like fast walk halfway there, and then once I get to like the food booth, I just start sprinting to the bathroom. And then I do the same thing on the way back, and I'm like, all right, man, I'm sorry about that. And he's like, no, dude, it's cool. And back and forth like through the paladin match, both of us were like making visual like exasperations and stuff. We were just like, oh man, are you serious? You top decked that, but we weren't saying anything. So we could tell like the other one was like mildly tilted. But this dude turned out to be a really nice dude. And I couldn't really tell that from the gameplay because he was just like, man, you top deck Sunkeeper, are you kidding me? How lucky. Like he was saying that with his body language. But yeah, so from there on, I think I 3-2 him with J Druid into Control Shaman. I eventually beat him with that. He turns out to be a really nice guy. We talk about the match afterward. There was like one turn where I actually attacked an Ashbringer into a 1/1 from Defend Against Darkness that he got off of an Ivory Knight, because if I didn't, I like lost the game on the spot to Sunkeeper Tarim, but he also like won at 1 life anyways, so it was like a really hard decision for me to make. But yeah, I eventually win versus him, so I'm 4-1 at this point. And then I go into round 6, and I play against a guy named Ryder, who I've never heard before. Apparently he writes for a Hearthstone website or something. I don't remember. I looked at his Twitter. He writes for something. He's a pretty cool guy. But we were talking before the match, and he's like, oh, what's your record? And I was like, yeah, I'm 4-1 right now. So I guess that's how you're doing. He's like, no, I'm actually 5-0 right now. And I'm like, oh, so you got paired down. He was like, yeah, I think I actually got paired down. So our match goes 5 games, and he eventually pulls it out. So I end the day 4-2, which sucks because I wanted to end at 5-1, so I had like a little bit of breathing room on day 2. But ending at 4-2 meant that I had to win literally all 3 games on Sunday for a chance to top 8, or on Saturday.
That seems easy for Appa looking from the outside in. I'm like, come on, dude, you just got to win 3 games. Like you do that all the time. Come on.
But it's hard. All right.
Yeah.
So Saturday rolls around. Round 7. It's my favorite match of the tournament.
Oh, this
God.
guy.
All right. So I play against somebody who shall remain nameless, but this dude was a jerk. That's putting it lightly. So last podcast episode, I mentioned how I really like to rope in tournaments, because if you're not roping, you're incorrect, because it's just giving you more time to think. So I rope. I lead off with Rogue, and my turn 1 play is Swashbuckler, which is a very clear turn 1 play, right? Like you do that every game. If you have it, you just go Swashbuckler on 1, Patches attack, and then you click end turn. But he queued up Paladin, so I was like, okay, what are his potential plays for like the next 3 turns of the game? So I just rope. And this guy says audibly, loud enough to that I can hear through the music playing through my computer on Spotify in my headphones on very close to max volume. He says, come on, dude. How many possible plays can you have on turn 1? So I make sure to go to the very end of the rope for this guy specifically. I'm like, all right, friend, you're going to have to wait now. So I wait till the end of the rope, and then I Swashbuckler and Patches. And then I see him give me the, like the, are you serious? And then he jerks his head back. He's like, you kidding me? Playing against this kind of guy? So I rope every turn for the rest of the game. And I beat him with Rogue. And then he beats me twice with Freeze Mage because I go because he queues up Freeze Mage against Rogue, which is really bad matchup, and I'm like, okay, whatever, that's fine. That's an easy loss to take. I'll just counter queue with Jade Druid, right? So I counter queue him with Jade Druid, and I rope again, and he gives me all the BS that he was giving me the match before, and he was just like BMing me the entire game. And the game comes down, Jade Druid versus Freeze Mage comes down to him primordial glyphing and getting a secret. And I was like, okay, I drew this Earthen Scales. So if I Earthen Scales and it lands and it's not exactly counterspell, then I win this game outright. Also, if it doesn't land, I win this game outright because I've written down all the burn spells in his deck. He's used a Pyroblast, 2 Fireballs, 2 Medivh's Valet, 2 Frostbolts, everything. And I'm like, okay, he doesn't have any more burn. So I go Earthen Scales off the top, targeting my 7/7 Jade Golem. And then it goes Counterspell, pop. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Shapeshift, Hero Power, gain 1 armor, go, you're dead, right? And then he draws the second Pyroblast off the top of his deck. And I'm like, why did you build your deck like that? Why is that not like an Antonitis or something? I don't understand. So he does like this really weird big like celebration, and he's like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like, you were so dead if you didn't build your deck like garbage. Whatever. So it comes down to me being down 2-1 and having to beat his Freeze Mage, which I know about, and then his Warrior deck with my Ancestral Spirit Control Shaman. So I'm like, all right, there's no way I can lose to this dude. I cannot actually live with myself if this dude wins this match. So I queue up Ancestral Spirit Control Shaman versus Freeze Mage with double Pyroblast, which sounds like I should never win this game in a million years. But I get off to a decent start, and I just start slamming taunts and slamming like Earth Elementals and Wide Eyes and Ancestral Spirit on him up and stuff, and like hexing his Doomsayers. Eventually it comes down to this turn where I'm like, all right, I'm threatening to pop your Ice Block. Do you have Alexstrasza? And he's like, I got this Alexstrasza, pointed at your head. And I'm like, all right, hex that, Maelstrom Portal, Jinyu Water Speaker my face, you can't kill me, pop your Ice Block. And then he's like, all right, Pyroblast, no, he doesn't Pyroblast me, he goes Ice Block, and then Fireball you. And I'm like, all right, you have enough burn in your hand for next turn, don't you? Oh, wait. Jinyu Water Speaker my face. Hot Spring Guardian my face. You can't kill me now. So then I pop his block again, and then he goes like Arcane Intellect, and at this point I'm like, all right, you're dead. Get wrecked, son. And then he goes like Thalnos, ping my Thalnos, and then he doesn't find his Ice Block. And then this dude's just like obviously tilted off the face of the earth because I just wrecked him in like one of his best possible matchups with this deck. And then we get into the Ancestral Spirit Shaman versus Taunt Warrior matchup, and it comes down to me double Ancestral Spiriting my White Eyes and getting 3 of the Storm Guardians through the course of the game, and it comes down to him throwing out a Brawl with like 4 minions on board and my 10/10 living.
Yeah,
So I just
buddy.
like hit him in the face like 3 times with it, and he loses. And since he was BMing me the entire game, he just didn't even say anything, didn't shake my hand. He just got up, packed up his laptop, and left. And I was like, yeah, that's right, walk away.
Justice is
Get wrecked,
served.
son. So I reverse sweep him 3-2 with like the worst possible matchup for my deck. And then going into round 8, I play against a guy, I think it was his friend too, because I saw him talking to him afterwards. His name was Heavy J. I think he's like a figure in the community. I don't know. I've heard his name
I've seen
before.
his name around. Like he's
Yeah.
he's done stuff.
We play like a relatively okay match. Like a lot of his hands were bad, but I also led Paladin into Warrior, and he had a more aggressive lineup than the dude before. And he goes like Pirate Warrior, and I'm just like, all right, Glocker Crawler you on 2, make a 3/4. Are we done here? and we were done with that one. So I think I sweep him 3-0 actually, maybe 3-1. And then round 9 was actually on stream. It was versus Strife Crow. So we were waiting for a while because the feature match before us was Reynad versus Just Saying. Both of them from Tempo Storm. Both of them really good players. Pretty easy feature match over random no-name Appa that literally nobody knows other than the people who listen to Coin Concede and Strife Crow. So while we're waiting, they asked me to step out of the feature match area and like go sit in the audience for a little bit. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. So I do that, and I'm just like playing on my phone. I'm playing like apps on my phone. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm waiting. I'm bored. Want to play Hearthstone? And then they come out and get me. They're like, all right, you can come back. And they were like, all right, so Stripe Crow's gotten a game loss. And I'm like, what? And Stripe Crow was like, yeah, apparently you're not allowed to have two decks of the same class that you can play. And I was like, well, yeah, that's just like a regular Open Cup rule, right? And he's like, well, I don't really play in Open Cups that much. I've never really actually heard of this rule. And
It's in the rules, yo. Read the rule book.
Like, I don't know. I'm like, I've read over the rules like twice, but all right, whatever. So he got a game loss. So he had to win 3 games versus me having to win 2, which is actually what happened, unfortunately. Because in game 1, I queue up Rogue against his Elemental Shaman. And what happens is I go Swashbuckler on turn 1. Patches, attack your face. And he goes Maelstrom Portal you on turn 2. Get Crystalline Oracle. And that Crystalline Oracle eventually ends up getting Vile Spine Slayer.
Oh, God.
And there's something that I should tell you about my Rogue deck that I brought. It has no Cold Bloods and no Leroy Jenkins. The only form of burst is 2 Eviscerates. So it has to kill you with Arcane Giants. So he Vile Spine Slayers my first Arcane Giant. He hexes my my Edwin Van Cleef. And then how does he kill the second Arcane Giant, you ask? He's running Spirit Echo in his deck.
Oh.
So he Spirit Echoes a Vile Spine Slayer that he got off of the Crystalline Oracle that he got off of Maelstrom Portal. So I just couldn't actually win that game.
It's so like high rolled off the planet. Like, yeah, that's ridiculous.
So I don't queue up Shaman. He banned Paladin, by the way. So I don't queue up Shaman because it's like a 60-40 matchup at least in his favor. Like, it is terrible for my Control Shaman deck. So I'm like, all right, Jade Druid's probably pretty good, right? And then he just has like this busted minion start with like Spirit Echo and like Stonehill Defender, like multiple things from below. And I'm like, man, I just can't actually hold out the pressure. I'm like, this is where the feature match starts.
That's where it started. And like it queues up. We're in the audience and there's 6 minions, at least 6 or 7 minions on Strife Crow's board. And the first 3 of them are things from below. I'm like, oh my God.
There's thing from below, thing from below. Thing from below number 3, Aya Blackpaw, like a 3/3 Jade Golem, and then just stuff. And all right, so keep in mind that I have to win this match, and if I win the match, I am mathematically locked. I am guaranteed my first top 16 of the DreamHack. There is no way I don't actually top 16 if I win this match.
Yeah, it was winning in. I did the math before.
I talked to Strife Crow before the match, and he's like, man, my breakers are terrible. My tiebreakers. He's like, I'm not sure I can actually top 16 if I win, but we had to play it out anyways. So he wrecks me with Elemental Shaman versus Jade Druid. And then game 3, I was like, man, I have to play Control Shaman versus Elemental Shaman. This sucks. So, yeah, I played that on stream. I'll link it in the show notes, but you'll see me get absolutely slaughtered by this deck. I made one mistake that changed the match a little bit, or the game a little bit, but it didn't actually change the overall outcome of it. It was just like a tiny sequencing error, but it didn't really change all that much. I was going to lose that anyways, probably. So I'll link that in the show notes, but I get what is effectively 3-0'd. I was granted the free win by his deck error. So I get effectively 3-0'd by Stripe Crow and knocked out of another top 16 of DreamHack because I was playing a win in last year too. So I went 6-3s at back-to-back DreamHack Austins, which feels really, really terrible. I'm going to be honest. It feels real bad.
But you should be proud of yourself. I mean, you may set high standards for yourself, but a lot of people are proud of you. So.
Yeah, dude, and I pointed this out after the fact. It's like one, you played it as best as you could. I mean, the AOE sequencing, whatever, like for the most part, it was really tight play. And two, 30,000 people were watching that stream, and now they know who you are. So your name exists in people's minds, and the next time they look at a tournament bracket and they see Appa, or they look at Gosu Gamers and they see your name ranked, they're gonna be like, oh, he's like an actual like professional player. And I think that's really the most important thing. Like you got 23rd even after losing that match. You were 23rd out of 234 players, top 10%. Like you missed the cut, yeah, but damn, you did really well. Unlike me, I did considerably less well.
Oh yeah, I did I collected all my stats and I found out that I am, what was it, 23 and 8 or something?
72% in majors.
Yeah. Like
gee,
21
damn.
and 8 in actual major matches, and then 23 and 8 counting the
Sadie, do
Tavern
you
Hero
mind?
tournament from last year in summer prelims, because I had to go 2-0 in that to actually qualify for prelims. So I traveled to Orlando last year to play in the Tavern Hero tournament. Then I 2-0'd that, and then I had to 9-2 prelims to top 16 after getting 0-1 in the loser bracket. So overall, I'm 23 and 8 in quote unquote professional matches.
Well, and like with a background in many years ago, back when I was Appa's age, I used to play in a lot of tournaments for Magic the Gathering, and something that's difficult to break the habit of is focusing on the losses. Because it's always
Yeah.
about the mindset of a professional gamer, of any professional, is how can I be better? How can I improve? Where can I focus my energy? And the energy is always focused not on what you did well. Yes, you want to go over the games you win, but it's very easy to be like, that was a misplay, but it didn't matter. Or, maybe that was a judgment call, but it worked out, because human beings are naturally results-oriented thinkers. Results-oriented thinking, as we've explored in the past, is a bad habit to be in, but one that's very, very hard to break, because typically you think the games I won, I played the best I could, and the games I lost, I did something wrong. Focusing so much on the games you lose means so much of your mental energy is taken up by this focus on your own shortcomings, and it makes professional gaming a very difficult thing to do emotionally. So, Appa, I applaud you for not only your performance, which was exceptional. You won double the number of matches that you lost, which I think any of us on ladder would be thrilled to have. But
Seriously.
also, you managed to come into a show tonight and talk about it with positive energy, despite it being, if you looked at it through a solely competitive mindset, it could be a negative experience. But you did really well. You played well on a large stage. No, you didn't top 16, but you were in spitting distance again, and you had some really great times while you were there that I'm sure you and Cinder will also talk about. And like that's really what the tournament life is all about. If you focus on if I don't win it, I'm a loser. It's not, competitive gaming will tear you down, but it's entirely possible for it to build you up through the social environment and the focus on, yes, let's look through the misplays and not make them again, but also focus on what we did right and be proud of our accomplishments.
Word.
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
mic drop, but you don't want a mic to drop on the air. That would be bad.
I have a boomerang.
Yeah,
It's not going anywhere.
I think actually playing competitive Magic for like a couple years actually helped out a lot. It was like focusing like what I could do better, like on what I could do better, but like also having like a positive mindset moving forward from that, and like looking at a tournament like in a positive light. Because at a certain point, like you do it enough where you're just like, man, this tournament was a disaster. I made all these mistakes. Like you do it enough to where it just like starts tearing you down, and you're just like, I can't do that anymore. I have to just like be positive about it.
Yeah.
So like even though I missed and like I didn't make, like my goal was to top 16, like cash the tournament and like get like a big finish like for once like in the spotlight, and I didn't do that, but like I still played really well over the course of the tournament for the most part.
Definitely.
Like after starting out 0-1 to go 6-2 from that point and only lose to like getting slightly high rolled, I guess.
Well, slightly. Gee whiz, man.
Well, I mean, but like
And,
luck balances
and then
out
running
over
into
time,
a bad
right?
matchup
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
like the very last portion, like against Strife Crow, like he also played really really well. So like
Yeah, totally.
It's Strife Crow.
It sucks, but I mean it's not the worst thing that could happen.
No.
The worst thing that could happen though, like I got on stream and Cora was not casting me. And
Yeah, that was
really
sad. Like,
that was a punt.
Because Noxious and TJ were like, "Who's Appa? Do you know anything about him?" No, I don't really know anything about him. And we talked to Cora later. She's like, "Too bad I wasn't there because I'd have been like, that's Appa from Cyclone Esports. He's really good. He's on the Concede podcast that you should definitely check out. And he's really smart. And it was like, you see, it's that's kind of luck of the draw too because they just kind of like would swap back and forth casting duties and it happens."
Yep.
No worries.
Can
Next time.
you guys talk
Yeah,
about what it
yeah,
was
it
like
was-
to meet
oh,
Cora?
Yeah.
Can I talk about what it was like to meet Cora? Let me tell you something. I like many people out there have like pretty substantial self-esteem problems, and I always think, and this is just the way my brain works, I always think that people aren't going to know who I am, right? Like I was totally expecting to like roll in there and like wave to Cora, and she just be like, "Who are you again?" And like having to explain, "I'm Cinder, I'm from the podcast," Well, it was before the first round, and she was walking like back from somewhere towards the tournament area. I was like, "Hey, Cora," and I waved at her, and her face looked like a child who had just found out that she got a puppy for Christmas, and she saw that puppy, and she's gonna scoop up that puppy and put it in a bed and treat it like her child for the rest of her life. Like I thought she was gonna squeeze the life out of me when she ran up to me and hugged me. So like that was really awesome. And also, as Appa said, she is as super nice as she seems like on camera. She is just so chill, and like we hung out quite like it was only in like little 5-minute spurts because she had to run back and forth to the casting desk. But she would always come out and like seek us out and say hi, just chill, charge her phone, whatever, chit chat.
She would like come find us while she was charging her phone, just sit down and talk to us and stuff. And we're like, oh man, this is nice.
That's nice.
But I texted her like after day one because I went 4-2 and we were talking about it. And I made a mistake in my match that the second match that I lost. It didn't like really cost me that much because I think I lost the match anyways. But I was talking about it and she's like, "Oh, don't beat yourself up." And I was like texting her afterward and she's like, "Yo, you're doing great. Seriously, just don't worry about it." I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go on to day 2 and let's do it. And she was watching the feature match and afterwards I came just like scuffling out of the feature match area, just real sad. And she came up to me and she's like, "All right, come here." And she gave me a big hug and I was like, "Aw."
Aw. Yeah.
But yeah, she's really awesome. Like, faux real.
I mean, we knew that already, but just actually physically meeting the person, it just kind of it makes it real,
It hits you in the feels.
Yeah.
Yes. I just wanted to live vicariously through you guys for a second there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep.
What?
I'm gonna keep my comments off of meeting each other and yeah.
Because
I've learned.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, dude. After DreamHack, we went to 6th Street, which was good, and we had a real good time.
Yeah, you drank. I did not get drank because I was watching you.
I got real drank after that mess on top 16. I'm gonna be real. But yeah, we had a real good time. Austin was a lot of fun. Like even though I missed, it was a blast. It was a great time.
Was there anything else for you, Cinder, that kind of stuck out that you want to mention to us?
I mean, I can quickly go over my tournament play. So I ended up 4-5. I played through all 9 rounds. One of them was a bye, so you're gonna have to just pretend it was 3-5. So here's the thing though. So like I don't feel like I played poorly for the most part. I know where my mistakes were, and they were so clear to me that I could tell you that not only did they lose me the game, they lost me the match that they happened in. Because of the way I built my lineup to kind of just be a series of counter queues, so I would lose with one deck and then queue up the other one, which would almost certainly win. And twice I did that, and I made a critical mistake in a favored matchup, and I ended up having to queue in an unfavored matchup for game 5, and that happened twice. So I feel like the strategy worked up until the point of human error, and if you take that out, maybe I might be looking at like a 6-3 finish, which would have been really good. And I mean, just looking at my game records, I took some notes after the fact. Hunter was 4-4, Warrior was 3-3, The Druid was 4 and 5, but that was one of my mistakes. So if I had not made a critical mistake, that would have been a 5 and 4. Dragon Priest was 3 and 4. So without that critical mistake on a Dragon Priest versus Freeze Mage game, I would have been 4 and 3. So I was very close to having, a winning record there. So for me, it was just kind of like knowing exactly what I did wrong and being able to learn from it. Like, I will never make those 2 mistakes again.
Yeah, your lineup was definitely like tiptoeing the line of like
it's a razor's edge
mistakes,
kind of
like possible
yeah.
mistakes you could make.
Right.
And I saw the one you made versus Freeze Mage. It was actually because Cinder forgot to bring a mouse to DreamHack, which he meant to do.
Oh.
So he, yeah, I'll let you tell him.
I'm like, all right, I'm gonna use my Cabal Shadow Priest and I'm gonna steal that 2/3 and I'm gonna make a big old board and he's not gonna be able to come back from this. And that is a Priest to the Feasts. Crap. Because I'm nowhere near ready to burst heal with the Priest of the Feast. But I made the best.
He was saving Priest of the Feast for Alex Straza, and he was like, all right, I'm a Cabal Shadow Priest, this Arcanologist, and I'm just going to start beating him down and force him to Alex Straza me and then burst heal. And I was watching him play, and he was at like 27 or something, and he was like, all right, Priest of the Feast. And I'm like, Cinder, what are you doing? Cinder, please. Cinder, stop.
I clicked the wrong guy. So and that was really because I started playing too fast and I recognized it and I tried to slow myself down and I made a mistake, but it happens. Also, my opponent Firemancer was like super rad. He's actually like a Twitch partner, which I didn't know, but he, we talked a lot after the tournament. He was a cool dude. So yeah, like I felt good. I mean, despite my middling finish, I felt really good about how I did. We did meet some listeners. Byron found us, and Byron is like the chillest dude of all time.
Byron is my homie now.
Oh man, he was so cool. I ran into a listener that is not in any of our chat rooms. This guy named Tulio. He's a Brazilian entrepreneur. Like he's like an app developer, and he just had like so many great ideas. And I'm like, dude, you have to email the show, like, because I like what you're talking about. So we actually he did email the show. So we're gonna probably go over some of his stuff at a future time. So, and then here's my other big story that I wanted to tell. I tweeted about this, so if you follow me on Twitter, you saw this. But one of the people in the tournament was a 10-year-old kid, and I'm not gonna say his username because he's a kid, and I don't even want to remotely have somebody try to find him. So this kid though, he had the biggest attitude in this tournament. Like he played all 9 rounds, like day 1, day 2, he did the whole thing. And every single round, he would like put on his headphones and he was jamming out and having a good time. And he was just having a blast. And I'm like, I want to be that kid. Like he's having way more fun than anybody here. And he has no chance at getting anywhere in this tournament because he's 10 and he's not like his play was nowhere near sharp. But he was just having a fantastic time. And like, I admired that so much. But anyway, so I'm seated next to this kid in one particular round, and his opponent is a no-show. And he had been having a great time, and he kind of stands out because he's the only child in the tournament. So Nicolina, who is a streamer for Fate to Karma, she spots that the kid has no opponent, and kid has been having a lot of fun. He has nobody to play against. And she walks up and says, "Look, they're gonna give you the win for this match anyway, so you get your win. But how about you play a series with me instead?" And just like gives the kid a full set, and just out of the kindness of her heart, because I guess she had dropped out of the tournament at that point, and like gave the kid a game, like let the kid have more fun at the expense of her time. And I'm like, that is so classy. So like she gets all the props in the world for like being just an amazing human being. And then coincidentally, I get paired against the kid in like round 8. so I had some fun with him too, trying to give him some pointers and stuff. But it was a good time. Like, would definitely do again. Probably won't travel to do it again though, because the travel was so brutal on me. I gotta tell you, before the cast, I can't repeat the story I told before the cast. Trust me, the travel was brutal for me. So maybe I'll just kind of practice with Appa next time and cheer him on. maybe if Hearthstone had a tournament mode, that would be my outlet, but we don't have that. So ladder it is.
Well, and it's just nice like that story blew me away. Like I can't believe she just went out of her way to just play for the sake of playing. Pros, they talk about, you can see them on stream sometimes just get burnt out. For someone to have such a love of the game and a love of the community, it's really the environment that you all were talking about at this tournament, with the exception of literally one dude.
Oh my god.
But he's the exception. It seems like the environment here was like insufferably positive. And, Strifecro not being bent out of shape by getting a game lost, Nicolina giving this kid a match just to have a match, Cora being Cora, you guys talking to listeners, and just the environment as a whole, if you look at the Hearthstone community and this specific slice of it, but reflective as the whole in general, I think we have a lot to be proud of as a group playing this game, not just part of Coin Concede, but as the greater Hearthstone community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, like one of the most surreal things for me over the course of the weekend was like just meeting listeners. As they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, dude, Cinder and Appa, what's up, dude?" And I'm like, "Hi,
Hey,
what's
Yeah.
up?" And they're like, "Yo, you guys are awesome." I'm like, "I just speak into a microphone about Hearthstone sometimes. What's up, man?" And like you could tell that they were like, "Man, you guys are awesome." I'm just like, "Oh, this is weird and really cool at the same time." And like that's when it hit me. I was like, "Oh, I'm like a figure in the community now." Like
yeah, right.
even
and
if
we,
I'm like not a big figure, I'm like there and like I'm in the spotlight. I'm like, "Oh, this is weird. This is bizarre. I'm scared."
like I'm
Somebody
definitely
help.
not. I am not the PR guy, but I was the PR guy because between Appa and I, it's definitely going to be me.
Yeah, after meeting Tulio and meeting Pyrone and like a couple other people, I was like, I
Yeah,
need an
like-
adult. Somebody help.
we found Phenom because he's been on the show, so he remembered us and he was like, "Oh, hey, I've been looking for you guys." So he was very cool in person. We met Sidonia, which was really funny because a drunk fan had wandered their way into that conversation and it got super awkward. So we will not be remembered as those guys who interviewed you the first podcast to interview you after you won the HCT seasonal playoffs. No, we're remembered as those dudes who were there when that random drunk person walked up and got super awkward.
Ugh,
Yeah, that was
I
really
think I know
funny.
who you're talking about, and that sounds hilarious.
It
Anyways,
was great. It was amazing. I
that's
love it.
that's for another time.
After show.
And it was nice to see that well, actually our second guest, I think it was our second guest of the show, ended up winning the whole thing. Shoop. It was I don't yeah, I
Shoop
think
is
maybe you're right.
Shoop has been digging for that. Like he was like the terror of the Onog circuit for so long and
Yeah.
hasn't had like a major win yet, and to finally get one that's great.
Yeah,
Like
good for him.
everybody's like he works so hard at this game. And he's super smart, so like I'm glad to see him win.
Yeah, he's a hard
All right.
worker, and he's in deep with the Vicious Syndicate team, and yeah, I have been very impressed by his work ethic and his positivity as well, and it really paid off here.
Well, we went pretty deep into the dream
little
hack here. We had a lot of questions we were going to go over. I'm not sure if we want to kind of go quickly over them or pick and choose or
we
carry
have
them
a
over.
lot. I think it would
Excellent.
actually be better to save them for next time so we could like just go over them all like more in depth because I don't want to skim over anybody's questions, like I don't want to like read them and then be like, here's this thing, like not go too in depth on them. Like I want to give everybody like equal time.
So let's say, okay, we hear you, Tulio. We hear you, not Rob, Crazy Gamer, Samurai Flea, Hatch and Slash, Brasky, Jim Grits, and Blue Spartan. We all had different questions and comments and stuff that we're going to go over, but we may save that for next time.
These are all from the Discord chat room, by the way, that we started. You can
at
all
least
but
one
one.
email to the show, yeah.
It's we were kind of blown away by making this questions channel and the amount of interactivity. I know I mentioned this at the top of the show, but I warned you we were going to still be positive about it later in the show, and here we are. It's since we've kind of found a niche that we've tapped into where we've kind of branded our show as the one that we were the people that bridged casual to competitive, but now we bridge us to you. And I think since we've opened this door to audience participation, the feedback has been so great that it's going to be a really consistent part of the show. And I agree with Appa. We want to give your guys' questions justice and time and the appropriate attention. And Appa's just saying this because the next episode is just going to be a 90-minute explanations, and he's real happy about it. But
Yeah.
Yeah, because like some of these questions are really amazing. Like Tulio, he hit me with this at DreamHack, and I asked him to email it in because it was a great idea. But he said you guys should do a segment just on how to use Dirty Rat with that certain decks and against certain decks. And I'm like, that is fascinating, and I really want to talk about that. There's like some questions about like when do you tech, and when does tech become permanent? Like, great question. I definitely want to talk about that too.
Yeah,
But yeah, we need to-
there's honestly a bunch of really good questions, which is like why I don't want to skim over them like in the next like 10 minutes before the show ends.
Yeah.
Because it's like too much to actually talk and think about.
We want to give these are great questions, and I want to give them the time they deserve. So let's pin them, and we'll do it. We'll do it next show.
Yeah, keep if you're in Discord already, just keep adding them into our channel or our chat channel. And if you want to email it, if you aren't in our Discord, I don't know why you're not, but if you aren't, just mail it to coinconcede@gmail.com, and we'll get to it that way. Or you could go to the website. You can leave comments there too. We'll still get it into the email.
yeah, or you can tweet at us.
You can. We now have Hat on. We're sharing the Coin Concede
No.
Twitter.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're figuring out the details on some things so we can make it better for you guys. But
Yeah, Pandora's box has been opened because those of you that know me outside of Coin Concede's Twitter know that I'm on my own Twitter approximately 26 hours a day.
Yeah, you got me hooked on that.
Yeah, and
Like-
Cinder, I'd like to point out, and I know there's going to be your shout out, Cinder, but I'm blowing up your spot. Your avatar is the best thing I've seen since ever.
Oh yes.
It's so
Thank
good.
you. I have so many shout outs this week too. Like, it's crazy, and he's one of them. So
Somebody said in chat he was in it for the Twitter account all along.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Everything is coming together.
yeah, there you go. So I mean, that's further proof that he's a part of the show. Like we're not getting rid of him.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots to go over. A lot of good questions, and we've even gotten some good feedback. If you just want to leave us feedback, we're open to feedback. We had some feedback about doing like short 15-minute
Yeah.
little shorts, or even like a mini-sode or something different. I think we actually hit our Patreon goal here, which is like an extra little show thing for you guys.
Yeah.
So
we have an extra show every week that we need to start doing.
Hey, look at that. We can just do a question show every week,
there you go.
actually.
I don't want to die. It's not every week. It's an extra show once a month. But
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Oh, my bad.
That's good too.
Every
Yeah,
week
an
would be
extra
lovely.
per month.
If
Just
we'll,
like gather all the questions and talk about them for however long.
Yeah.
we'll
So
increase the
let us know what
Patreon
you
so we
think.
can get an 8th day a week, and then once we have the technology to make the 8th day, there will be an extra show every week.
There you go.
let us know how you want us to spend that extra episode. That'll help us out.
There you go.
All right. So let's give our thanks out. I'm going to go over the thanks because all of you have been talking a lot. Thanks to Stefan L. for letting us use his cover. You can check him out on his channel, which is linked on our show notes on our website, coinconcede.com. Follow us on Twitter at CoinConcede. You can like and share our Facebook, which is facebook.com/CoinConcede. We have our Discord channel. You can, if it's easiest just to type in discord.coinconcede.com. And we actually had Mike Mike. I'm gonna mess up.
Sotko.
Well, it's Mike.
Mike
but-
Sotko.
Yeah, but
Mike Sotko,
he actually
Psych
bought
Motko.
some. Yeah, he bought a mug during the show.
Oh, he
So
did. Awesome. I
So,
feel validated because I
and
made that.
we do have to get out the new, last month's T-shirt that was added to Variatus, because he is our producer. Thank you so much for being our producer. We appreciate it.
It's May. I
Yeah.
just realized it's May. It's time for a new shirt. I already have the design, y'all. It's going up soon because I got reminded of it just now because we're talking about it. But it is face. Just
Yes.
face.
Like-
You've linked it in the chat before.
Like a
Yes, I
face or
have.
just the word face?
Just the word. So it's Bittertide Hydra done up like the Obama Hope poster, but instead of hope, it says face.
All right. All right. So, wow.
Does it have a period at the end of it? Please tell me it has a period.
No,
at the
no,
end
no
of it.
period.
No,
It's just
no, just the
That
letters.
makes it so better.
I'm staying true to the visual aesthetic of the original.
there you go.
That's great though. That's
Yeah.
good.
Feel good about that.
All right. So, Appa, you have any shout-outs from this week?
Yeah, actually. I've talked about him on the show before. My buddy Tan Grace. he's been a big figure like in the Hearthstone Magic poker community for a while. He does a Hearthstone podcast.
Oh,
God,
just a random Hearthstone podcast. He does Well Met.
Well
yeah,
met.
he's on Well Met, and he actually gave me a shout out at the end of this week's episode, talking about
Sweet.
me and DreamHack and talking about me as a player and stuff. And he was just giving me a lot of praise, which feels really nice and validating. Because I still remember the first game of Magic I ever played against him, where I had literally no idea what I was doing, and he just like rammed me into the ground, and it was just disgusting and sad. And like I look back on it now, I'm like, what are you doing, man? But yeah, he took me under his wing in Magic and like taught me all this kind of stuff, and it was great. So like I owe him a lot in Magic and like Hearthstone like subsequently. So yeah, give shout out to him. So yeah, it feels good, man.
All
Feels
right.
good.
And Cinder, what about you?
Okay, so I got a bunch. So I got all of my opponents from DreamHack. I had my notes. I don't know where my notes are, but I'm going to try to rattle off as many as I can remember. So Lead Paint, thank you very much. Deathsea, thank you very much. Firemancer, thank you, sir. Sharknado, awesome name, thank you. That's all I can remember, but I will try to remember the rest later. Also, big shout out to Durfington for my new avatar. I have used it on Twitter. I have used it on Twitch. I have used it in Discord. It's awesome. I had to jump on the train after seeing Hat and others get theirs done, so now I have mine, and I love it. And the biggest shout out in the world to Nicolena again for being an awesome human being. You rock.
Gosh, I'm so jealous of that avatar too. I want one, but I don't know what I would get.
Yeah.
I don't have like I'm not like an avatar kind of person, but they're so good.
Something from the wild format.
Born to be wild. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, and what about you, Hat?
Boy, I'm gonna give a shout out. I've actually had a lot of like contact with people through the Coin Concede Discord this past week. A few people have messaged me directly asking for advice. Fearlord, Gramdell, who else? Starlax. We've had some good conversations, and then the people that have asked for me for coaching, we've got Kazin. We've got, I think Starlax is another one of those. We've got Left Adrift, New York, and Calum. And thank you to all of you for the community, this explosive growth of the Discord and of just the interaction that we've all been having and of the Twitter environment that we all banter in. It's just been really amazing to be a part of.
It's been fire lately. Man.
Yeah. There have been people everywhere. The Patreon is blowing up, so I know it's a cop to say the listeners, so I named 7 specific listeners. Really, all of you are amazing. Those of you that keep us going and that make this a reality, and really like the number of people that messaged me last week after saying, I hear you're a permanent part of the show, congratulations, thank you, we love having you. Just like that kind of feedback feels unwarranted isn't the right word, but like it's I can't even process it. So thank you all so much for being so kind and welcoming and helping us make this community into what it's become and to allow it to continue to grow.
Ooh, and I want to jump into one more here because I see Evident from Hearthstone Top Decks has been in the chat room for most of the show. We've shouted him out before, but I also like I don't know if
Evan, what's up, dude?
Yeah, he's there. So I don't know
Yeah.
if Stonekeep is like staff on Top Decks or if he just is a contract writer. But Evident, you need to get that man like something that is appropriate to praise because he does a lot of work. He writes a lot of the articles and stuff, like the strategy articles and deck write-ups. That dude does a ton of work too. So like not just Evident, but also Stonekeep. I just wanted to give credit where credit is due for that amazing site.
Yeah, speaking of which, perfect segue, real quick. Hit me up on Twitter. My DMs are open at Cyclone Appa. Because I know we've said on here that we want to get you on the show before. I don't know if you listened to that episode.
I actually talked to him. Like he did say that he's like a behind the scenes kind of guy.
Uh-huh.
I respect that in 100%. So it's all good.
All right.
Sorry,
Evident, we love you. It's okay.
we do for sure. That site is amazing. I visit it at least once a day. It's great. Go there.
Yes, keep that sweet supply of deck list flowing right into my veins.
There you go. All right, since we're already in the Twitch chat here. Let me give a shout out to the others that showed up here. So we have Arctic Chill. I'm gonna butcher everything. Blue Spartan, D-Man Things, Evident, obviously. Isorhythmic, Jim Grits, Mid Game, P Sams, Psych Mopco, Sir Slips, Sir Zero. All right, got note 2 Sirs. Skaven, Steven Sensei, and the Avatar. There's some others that were in there earlier that had to leave. It gets late on the East Coast, so yeah. Thank you for joining. We appreciate having our little chats here during the show, a little banter back and forth. But thank you for joining us live. We appreciate it. And that pretty much does it for our show. Let's give out our information here. I'll start with Cinder with his awesome avatar.
Oh, not only do I have an awesome avatar, but like, look, playing in DreamHack and like meeting other people who were, I was competing with, who were like Twitch partners. It kind of inspired me to try to get a stream schedule together and aim for doing like the Twitch, like the affiliate program. So I do have a stream schedule now. Obviously, right now is part of it because even though I'm on the different channel, like this is part of my online presence. Saturday night's going to be Heavy Metal Hearthstone again, and Sunday I found something at DreamHack that inspired me to do stuff. This is an original NES cartridge of Dragon Warrior, which is one of my favorites from when I was a kid. I bought it, and Sundays is going to be a retro video game afternoon on my stream. So because I have all the original consoles, I have a capture card, so that's going to be like my chill day to just like chill out and like play some old RPGs, and y'all should come like hang out because it's going to be cool. Oh, but I should tell you where that is. It's on twitch.tv/Cinder Ascendant, along with my Twitter, which is @Cinder Ascendant.
All right, great.
Dragon.
And what about you, Hat?
Where can you find me? You can find me on Twitter @RidiculousHat, on Twitch, twitch.tv/RidiculousHat. You can find me in Discord like all the time. And yeah, and probably talking to these knuckleheads somewhere.
Great.
Somewhere, somehow.
And Appa, where can we DM you?
You can find me on Twitter @CycloneAppa, where I am a majority of the time now, thanks to Hat, who got me hooked up on that, because Twitter is like a drug. And over the weekend at DreamHack, I got inspired by multiple people to start streaming, not only like doing small streams again, but like really starting to get into it, because I actually have the criteria to be a partner. I just have to actually, or not a partner, an affiliate.
Yeah.
I just have to get enough hours in, like within a month. So I'm gonna start doing that. I'm working at getting a stream schedule together. It's finals week for me right now, so it's absolutely miserable and impossible to do anything else but study. So I'm like jamming this podcast in right now, but it's at twitch.tv/AppaHS, and I'm gonna be firing up the stream like religiously and have a stream schedule and everything. It's gonna be great. We're gonna play some goofy decks. Like this weekend, we're gonna be playing Reno Malagus Freeze Mage in the Heroic Tavern Brawl, because I'm a masochist and I don't like winning.
All right, great. And that leaves me. So I'm on Twitter @KCCO_gamer. Same thing for Twitch. And yeah, you can find me on Discord a lot. Pretty active there. More so than on Twitter, I should say, which is why I brought Hat in on the Twitter. But one other thing I wanted to mention too, there was one other person that did really well for DreamHack, and her name is Cora. So
yeah, dog.
We can't go without saying Cora did an awesome job. Love to see that she was there. Obviously, if you want to see her, she's usually casting. Follow her on Twitter @songbird_HS, and she'll usually announce what she's doing. Go ahead, Cinder. You were gonna say.
She is definitely casting Hearthstone Global Games matches tomorrow, Thursday. So yeah, she's still at it. That's why she's not with us again this week. she's already in California again.
Wow. That travel
Busy.
schedule, I don't know how she does it.
She's only home like 2 days a week or something right now. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, like when you're doing what you love and you like get this sweet opportunity, like you're gonna jump on it, even if it's like a lot. So
Not many people could do that too. So I'm glad she was asked and is able to do it and continue doing
I
it.
couldn't do it. I'd get burnt out so fast, but she is a trooper.
Yeah, props to her.
Great. And that pretty much does it for the show. That's a wrap. So I'll leave you with keep calm and chive on. And if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Going Concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
You have bested.
Choose done.
You win this one.
I concede. You win this time. Well fought. I concede. You win this one, friend. The victory is yours.
I get it.